giving a child a replica of their mother in a pine coffin, locking a guest in an isolated study all night, stripped of the ability to move. These aren't scenes from a new thriller. They are real events that unfolded behind the closed doors of Alfred Hitchcock's estate. While millions applauded his films, the guests in his home felt true anxiety. The master of suspense's mansion was designed like a giant trap. The walls were packed with hidden sensors and listening devices, turning every room into an observation post. Hitchcock didn't just live in this house, he used its architecture to manipulate people and study their deepest phobias. Today, we open the door to the director's real world, a world where the estate's perfect facade hid psychological experiments on loved ones and elaborate traps for friends. This is the story of how a house became the primary tool of control in the hands of the master of suspense. For Hitchcock, every room in the mansion was a potential set for his cruel experiments. He personally oversaw the layout of his study to transform it into the perfect isolation chamber. The most infamous event within these walls began with a simple bet. Hitchcock invited a guest into his study, a room with thick, soundproof panels and massive oak doors that blocked out every sound from the outside world. The terms were these: the person had to spend the night in iron shackles, bolted to a heavy chair that was permanently fixed to the floor. But the study became a trap, even before the lock clicked shut. Before the test began, the host served his guest a drink laced with a potent medical-grade laxative. The estate's architecture was designed so that cries for help from that wing of the building simply vanished into the walls. While Hitchcock rested peacefully in his bedroom, his guest in the center of the study endured a literal physical and psychological hell, completely unable to move. In the morning, the director found the man in a horrific state, yet instead of offering help, he began meticulously examining how his sterile interior had reacted to such an extreme situation. Even the relaxation areas in this home were dangerous. The estate was filled with secret niches in the walls where Hitchcock would place objects designed to cause psychological trauma. On one occasion, a box appeared in the children's area, crafted from the same wood as the wall paneling. Inside, a child found a replica of her own mother in a miniature pine coffin. Hitchcock believed that true fear works best where a person least expects it, in their own home. The Bella Vista estate wasn't designed for privacy, but for total transparency, though only for one person, the master of the house. Hitchcock turned his home into a literal acoustic machine. Hidden listening devices were built into the walls and decor throughout the entire perimeter of the building, from the guest bedrooms to the dining hall. While guests discussed private matters behind closed doors, the director sat in his soundproof study, tuning the frequency to the desired room. He literally collected other people's secrets through the walls of his own home. The next morning at breakfast, he might accidentally quote a phrase a guest had whispered the night before. Hitchcock delighted in watching people turn pale, unable to fathom how their private whispers could have leaked through the estate's thick stone. But the house's technical insides had another dark side. Manipulation mechanisms were hidden within the ventilation system and behind the mirrors. Hitchcock could remotely control the lighting in guest rooms, switching on blinding lamps in the middle of the night, or use hidden speakers to play faint, unsettling sounds in the empty hallways. It was a sophisticated game played with the human psyche. The house functioned as a single organism, where every floorboard creak and every flash of light was calculated to strip a guest of any sense of peace. You would cross the threshold as an honored guest, only to become part of an invisible script where the walls knew more about you than you knew about yourself. While the main halls of Bella Vista were a trap for the mind, the basement and attic became grounds for visual experiments. Hitchcock personally designed these areas to resemble sets from his darkest scenes. The basement areas were equipped with special refrigeration units where the temperature could drop to critical levels in a matter of minutes. Hitchcock loved inviting colleagues into this wing of the estate to discuss new projects among frozen objects. He watched as the discomfort and cold caused people to lose their self-control while he himself remained perfectly calm. It was his way of studying human reactions to physical pressure within the confines of his own home. The real tension, however, reigned on the upper floors and in the storage rooms. There, the director kept exact replicas of items connected to real tragic events he had researched for his films. He could suddenly kill the power to the entire estate and, using hidden mechanisms, make these figures appear in the dark niches of the hallways. The atmosphere was so heavy that the staff rarely lasted more than a few months. Employees would quit, claiming it was impossible to be alone in the mansion, that the walls seemed to breathe anxiety. And this was no accident. Every line of a hallway, every shadow on the stairs was part of Hitchcock's grand plan, to turn his home into a place where peace was impossible by design. Even in their own bedrooms, no one but the master of the house could ever feel safe. Over time, the Bella Vista estate became a trap for Hitchcock himself. Toward the end of his life, the director, who had spent decades studying fear, fell hostage to his own paranoia. He rarely left the house, where every room was saturated with memories of his cruel pranks and manipulations. The walls that once helped him spy on others now seemed to close in on him. It's said that in his final years, he developed a panicked dread of his own invention, the hidden surveillance system. He knew exactly what a person with access to someone else's secrets was capable of, and that fear became his personal final credit. After the master of suspense passed away in 1980, the estate changed hands several times. New owners tried to remodel the house, tearing out secret niches and dismantling miles of hidden wiring that threaded through the walls. But the legends of Bella Vista never faded. Even today, fans believe the hallways still echo with the same whispers Hitchcock once captured on his microphones. The story of this house is a reminder of what happens when a genius gains absolute power over a space. Hitchcock built more than just a residence. He built a monument to his obsession with control. He proved that the most terrifying scripts aren't written in Hollywood offices, but behind the closed doors of the place we call home. Let us know in the comments which of Hitchcock's pranks you found the most twisted. Could you spend even one night in his Bella Vista? Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next story. Behind the doors of the next estate, even more shocking discoveries await. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the walls really do have ears.